Hello everyone and welcome back to the Part-Time Gamers YouTube channel. I am Welchy, one half of the Part-Time Gamers, and I am here today with my first impressions of Ratchet and Clank: A Rift Apart. Now this is our first impressions video, so it'll be greatly appreciated if you give us some feedback so we know how we can do this better. If you want to see us do this more often, or if we're doing something well, tell us what we're doing well. So yeah, please let us know in the comments after this video to let me know what I can do to improve on these videos or what I've done well. Leave a like if you did enjoy it, and please subscribe if you want to see more first impressions, and click the notification bell so you know when our posts go live. So let's get straight into this. Ratchet and Clank: A Rift Apart came out last Friday. I've been able to play a bit, and that's why I'm doing the first impressions. I've played about 4 hours, maybe 4.5 hours. So definitely just a first impression, it's not a review. A review will come later. I do plan on reviewing this game. Again, that'd be one of my first reviews. I'm probably going to do Resident. Anyway, going off topic. What do I think of Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and is it worth your money if you haven't got it already? I mean, from what I've heard, it's stuff sold really well, so you might already have it. So first things first, and we have to get this part out of the way. The graphics are phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. On a 4K screen, PS5 is really making the most of the PS5 system, both in gameplay but mainly in graphics. It's just insanely good graphics. I am personally playing in the performance RT mode, which is 60 frames per second with upgraded visuals, including ray tracing, but not full 4K HD. You do also have the option to do that. You can go quality mode, which is pure maximum 4K HD and maximum ray tracing, but 30 frames per second. You've also got performance mode, which is 60 frames per second, better visuals than my mode, but no ray tracing. So I've gone for they call it performance RT because it's like the best of both worlds. You get the ray tracing, you get good visuals, obviously very good visuals, and 60 frames per second, and it is a blast. I have changed it to the quality mode, and I don't feel like I see that much difference, not enough to play in 30 for FPS. The 60 frames per second is by far the best option in my opinion, with the gameplay, which we'll get onto in a bit. If I compare this to Spider-Man Miles Morales from the same team at Insomniac, I felt like there's a bigger difference on the quality mode and the performance modes and performance RT modes on that game than there was on this one. I think that's partly because of the New York setting and the visual style of that game. In this game, as it's more cartoony, I don't think the highest settings do it as much justice. Don't get me wrong, this is probably one of the best games I've ever seen in my life, visually insanely good, but it's just incredibly good on the performance mode. It doesn't really justify playing on the quality mode. In my opinion, maybe I'm wrong. I'm not as into the tech as everyone, or a lot of people are, so I might be wrong there. But anyway, incredible to look at. Next is gameplay, and that is smooth as butter. The gameplay is absolutely brilliant. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the expert in Ratchet and Clank. I loved, and I really do mean I loved, the original game on PS2. It's definitely my favourite PS2 game ever. I've played a few of the PS3 ones as well, and I obviously played the PS4 one when it came out in 2016. So I'm very familiar with Ratchet and Clank. I beat the first one at least 30 times. I loved that game. I was very young playing that, and it was just the best game ever for me at the time. So I'm very familiar with Ratchet and Clank, and this is just Ratchet and Clank at its very best, gameplay-wise. Obviously, I'm not at the end, so there's still more weapons and stuff to get. But the weapons I've got so far are really fun. Nothing groundbreaking or incredible yet. I'm sure they will come, but I don't want to spoil things either. I'm trying not to spoil anything, but some of the weapons are really fun to use. And there's one particular weapon I don't want to. It's called the Ricochet. It's not really a spoiler, is it? It's not a story spoiler, but it's a gun where when I read the description of it, I was like, I'm not really going to use it. It's it doesn't seem like I'll use it that much, and I'm using it all the time. It is so good to use and so fun. And what I love about this Ratchet and Clank and Ratchet and Clank games in general is that it does make you use every single weapon at your disposal. The gameplay is so crazy. There's so many enemies at once, and each weapon suits a different enemy and a different moment. And I genuinely find myself using every weapon. There are some I use more than others. There's some guns I go to, but I do happen to end up using basically every weapon I have at my disposal every single time. And I love that. I love that it does that. What else gameplay wise? As I said, the 60 frames per second is incredibly smooth. Like, it's so fun to play that way. As I said, I moved to quality mode in 30 frames per second, and it feels so sluggish in comparison. And that's not a dig at the game, it's just a dig at the frames. So 60 frames per second is the way to go. If you are a person that really is more about visuals than the smoothness of the gameplay, then I would say don't even try the 60 frames per second mode, because once you've tried it, it's just like Spider-Man, it's going to be so hard to go back to 30 frames per second. But yeah, it's incredible. Can't wait to unlock more new guns and see how the gameplay progresses further. The DualSense use in this game is great. It's incredible. The adaptive triggers are probably the best part of the DualSense in this game. The weapons have alternative fire. So, for example, there's a glove where you throw bombs. Standard's been pretty much in every Ratchet and Clank game. If you push down the trigger and it gives you the almost like the stop point halfway down, the adaptive trigger. If you leave it there, it shows you the arc that the bomb's going to go, and then push further down and it'll throw it at that arc. Or if you just want to bypass that whole thing and you've got in a bit of a rush, you just press it down fully, or the whole first time, it'll just throw it quickly in the direction you're throwing it. It will follow an arc, but not at the... Sorry, just a post come through the door. Not at the... You won't see the arc. That's completely thrown me off. Yeah, and there's other examples of that. There's like a double-barreled shotgun, where if you do it down to the first bit, it does one of them, and if you hold it down the whole way, it does both, fires both at the same time. So a really cool way of using adaptive triggers, in my opinion. Like, incredible use. The whatchamacallit, the haptic feedback has also been pretty cool. Standout moment is near the beginning of the game. You go into this club arena kind of thing, and you can feel the music pulsing through the controller. That was cool. In every game, I tend to find, apart from Astrobot, I tend to find that the haptic feedback is a bit less noticeable. But I feel like that's because it's basically a vibration, and it's just there. It does improve the experience, but I just find it less noticeable than the adaptive triggers, because you really feel that. But still, great use of it so far. I'm sure I'll find more uses of it soon as I go through the game. The load times, as expected, are non-existent, and as we're going to get into it in a minute with the whole rifts thing, but it's great. You launch the game, press continue, and you're in. It's amazing, and going from a planet to planet, it's just such a good load time, and it's the future of gaming now, isn't it? That's the present of gaming. It's just what we expect now, and it's what we're going to get with these new gen consoles. And Ratchet and Clank is another perfect example of perfect load times. Then moving on to the story. The story is interesting so far. I won't go into the details, but I'm enjoying all the new characters so far. Rivet is the new Lombax that we've all seen on the trailers and whatnot. I'm really enjoying her so far. I'm actually enjoying her more than Ratchet at the moment. And one of my bugs with this game is that Ratchet's is the voice. It's not the voice actor's fault, I guess, but sometimes he's like kind of shouting. Like he's shouting almost at you. Like when a character's like saying, "Oh, maybe you should do this," he's saying it and he's kind of like just shouting it like in this really weird way, and I'm a bit like, why are you doing that? That's one thing I've noticed that's bugging me a little bit. But that's such a small thing for the whole game. Yeah, the story's cool. As I said, I'm only 4 hours in, so I'm not that far into it, but I definitely want to see how it's going to progress and how it's going to end. So I'm really into the story. The one thing I was disappointed with, and that has changed, I literally just played for half an hour, and then I'm doing this video now. I was a little bit disappointed with the Rift tethering at first. So at first, if you've seen the trailers, the Rift tethering, it's almost like the slingshot from the old Ratchet and Clank games. It's almost like a grapple hook. You grapple hook into this rift, which is like this open space where you see a different dimension, go into it. And my thoughts and my impressions from the past trailers and whatnot was that when you do that, you instantly change dimension. That isn't the case. You're actually in the same dimension, the same place. It's almost just like a teleporter, which is fine. That's great. It's just maybe my expectations were too high, and I was a bit disappointed. I was like, is that all this is going to be? Then there are moments where you do change dimension, but they're like these big, like almost like a bonus level, like on Crash Bandicoot or something, like a bonus level. There's just little bonus levels pointed around. That's a different dimension, and that's cool. It's like an instant load thing. It's great. But that wasn't like what I was expecting these rifts to be. But in my last couple of playthroughs, I've gone to a new planet, and this planet is where I really saw the like dimension factor kick in big time. You're starting this one dimension, and this planet is basically exploded. You're effectively in space on like this broken planet, and then you hit this. I'm going to call it a rock, but it's like a dimension rock, whatever it's called. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. As you hit it, it instantly, and I mean instantly, puts you on the same planet but in a different dimension where it's whole and everyone's there living and stuff. Incredible. That is what I was expecting with this whole rift thing or dimensional thing, and it's instant loading, and it works insanely well, and it's really enjoyable. I love doing it, and I look for those moments. I'm like, oh good, I can switch dimensions now, and it works so well with the gameplay. It's pretty simple stuff. Like you hit the rift rock, whatever, and then you can move on like past the point, then you hit it again, and then you're on the other side of something that you couldn't get past before, if that makes sense. But it's more the instant loading, and it's the whole map, and it's just so impressive. But yeah, it doesn't work incredibly well in terms of like combat and stuff. Although there's one part where I was fighting a load of enemies, and we hit a rift rock, and then you teleport into this back to the space part, and then there's different enemies there. You take them down, you hit the rock again, and then you're back fighting those enemies. So it's kind of cool. Maybe I haven't just heard it, but it'd be cool if like you heard some like dialogue from the enemies saying where's the Lombax gone, and then you'd be appearing, oh my god, where did he come from? That kind of thing. That'd be cool, but I don't think I've heard that unless I've just like not acknowledged it. Yeah, there was also a cool boss fight where you're fighting them, and then a massive rift dimension thing just happens, and it sucks you both to this new dimension, and you carry on the boss fight there, and then it takes you back again. That was quite cool, but almost like set PC. It wasn't like I didn't choose to do it; it purposely sucked you in, but still cool. And again, a showcase of how instant that change can be. They can instantly load a new level that quickly. Very, very, very good. Yeah, I mentioned the optional level rifts kind of thing, which is cool, but again, not what I expected to be. Sorry if you can hear me itching. It's summer and there's loads of little gnat bites and stuff. I thought I was saying, but yeah, basically the dimension stuff is cooler than I originally thought. At first I was disappointed, but then I realised actually they've done it quite well. Yeah, overall it's been a fantastic experience so far. The gameplay is just so fun. It's just pure fun. It's what a video game should be. My favourite games, some of them are Last of Us 2, God of War. I mean, God of War is very fun, but Last of Us 2, you could argue, and the original Last of Us, they're not fun games as such. You don't play them for fun, you play them for the story. You play them for the gameplay, but it's more because of the story and the seriousness of it, and like the emotional impact it has on you as a story. Ratchet and Clank, it might have elements of that later on, but it is much more family friendly, obviously, and it's just pure fun. It's fun to play. It reminds me of playing it back in the day, where I can see myself playing this loads of times because it's just fun. When you just want to chill and just play a game for fun, this is it. This is the one. And it's not like a FIFA that you chuck on. It's like a proper AAA experience, and it's pure fun. So highly recommend it. If you hate Ratchet and Clank, if you've played Ratchet and Clank before and you hate it, this isn't going to change. Like, it's not going to change your opinion, I don't think. If you've never played a Ratchet and Clank, this is the time to play. It's never been better. It's never looked better. It's never played better. And you don't really need to know the story. It doesn't help that much. It helps a little bit if you know the story. Like if you know Ratchet and Clank's story. I don't know all of it. And I'm doing perfectly fine with it. So yeah, you do not need to know the whole story. this isn't a review. It almost feels like I'm doing this as a review, but this is not. This is just first impressions. By the time I finish this, I could have a completely different opinion. I don't see it going that way. But yeah, I'm not going to give this a score or anything. I would say, as of 4 hours in, this game's been fantastic. Is it worth it? I would say yes so far. I don't regret my purchase, and I am having a blast. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed this first impressions of Ratchet and Clank: A Rift Apart. If you did, please do leave a like. Leave a comment to let me know what you think of this first impression style video. Is there something you want to see more of? What can I do to improve it? What can I do to change it? Should it be shorter? Is this too similar to like a review? Should I make it different somehow? Or is this absolutely fine? Do you even need a review now? Is this enough? Like, what? Let me know. I need to know these things. Please subscribe if you want to see more of these kind of videos, and click the notification bell so you can be notified when our videos go live and when we live stream as well. And that's going to be it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll hopefully see you next time.